up was for Boston.
Within School Site Council and my work in reviewing school budgets, I increasingly learned the importance of upholding accounts for the designated students, an experience I firsthand experienced with the rejectance of being allowed to print an essay for my AP Language Arts class, as I learned that specific materials, such as printer machines for English learners, are only allowed for English learners. And my question to the board is, how does the allocation of funds designated specifically for low-income foster youth and English learners towards an increase in proctors around school and more security-like officers specifically improve the academics performance of these students? Previously, I attended an LCAP meeting in PUSD where funds were discussed, and when I asked about the student survey conducted by PUSD months prior, I asked if students directly were asking for more security and for more proctors on campus, and if that was something that was asked. My question wasn't directly answered, and I come to question the implementation of these officers and how that helps students academically in their present and future lives. Being a student of PUSD, and I am a product of a PUSD, I've been in the district since I was 3 years old. I believe the key to improving the lives of our students begins in improving mental health services and others, and more to see where the student struggles. The implementation of further proctors would be for all students, not simply the ones marked, which views as a misuse of funds like the printing incident, and are only supposed to be used for such students. I come to ask for a stop for what I believe will not directly benefit all students, because it's marked for all students. Well, it's technically helping all students, but they're only marking it for English learners, foster youth, and one second, sorry, and other students, which is my question: why is it marked only for specific students if it's going to help all students? Thank you.
Good afternoon, my name is Ev Lopez. I go to Ganesha High School and I'm a member of Pomona Students Union. I came here to this district being an English learner, and mastering a new language is honestly really hard. Yet I failed to understand how cops and security can help anyone learn a new language. Cops and security didn't help me learn English, and they won't help me get into college. There is no reason to use this money meant for English learners or foster youth or low-income students to get cops and security on our campuses. What are they supposed to do? There is no need to approve this. Instead, why not use the money for aid, such as for better or more tutors to support these kids to actually succeed in school, or a counselor to aid these kids mentally? If this money is meant to be spent on a certain group, does that mean that these cops and security will just police the English learners and foster youth or low-income students in our school? Thank you for your time.
Next up is Iris Villapando, followed by Melanie Andrea.
Wait, my brightness is not. Hello, my name is Iris Villapando, and I'm a product of the Pomona Students Union and a student representative, also from Pomona Unified School District. Sorry, I got mixed up. So throughout my time with the schools, from Alcott to Simons and from Simons to Gary, I've had many different encounters with campus officials. And although most of them weren't terrible encounters, none of them gave me a reinforcing sentiment. I never once felt safe with them on campus. If anything, they were the reason I felt unsafe. It's because of this that I don't understand why campus officials or any type of law enforcement on campuses would benefit students academically, especially low-income, foster, and English learning youth. Many students tend to feel unsafe when they're on campus, mainly because their presence represents the fact that there is a problem within the school. The moment a type of law enforcement is on campus with students are more focused on finding out why they're there than their actual education. Not only are they a distraction, but they tend to police students more than protect them. SROs, for example, make a trip to the restroom feel wrong and unnecessary. And this is just one example of many different scenarios in which they make students feel like they are bad. Because of this, I would like to ask this budget not be approved. Instead of the funds being focused on school campus security, we should focus on finding out exactly what makes students feel unsafe and or uncomfortable and provide them with the better resources. For example, hygiene products to ensure students feel comfortable within the classroom instead of having to leave school or not attend at all. Another ideal investment in students would be providing better mental health support and resources. Thank you.
Next up is Melanie Andreo, followed by Paige Brian.
I am a low-income English learner. During my years in school, I focused on doing good while having to learn a new language that no one spoke in my house. I had to work a part-time job because my family was financially unstable, and being the second oldest in my family, it was my responsibility to help my mom. While working on my goal to enter college, I was scared for my family because the political environment that we are currently facing has caused fear upon us. Working, learning, and understanding was hard. I was unable to focus, and having security constantly stop students on my way to class did not make my school experience comfortable, as I felt I was doing something wrong, even though knowing I did nothing. Seeing security made me feel worried. I was alarmed. I was stressed, afraid, and I felt trapped. My name is Melanie Andreo. I am a member of Pomona Students Union, and I am a product of PUSD class of 2018. Although I understand that securities are meant to protect students and making sure nothing happens in our school campuses, there has been cases where securities have been used for in-school suspensions, which feed into the school-to-prison pipeline and not the school-to-college pipeline. Students are pressured in many different ways, that all we need at times is guidance and support, and not security and authority. I strongly believe these funds for English learners, foster youth, and low income should focus specifically in services and programs that can help students' behavior and emotional well-being, which is as important as the student's safety. We believe that LCAP should be reviewed again and with more consideration of student opinions who want the best from the schools that they currently attend or have families that attend. And we respectfully ask that you do not approve the budget and instead keep the following ideas into consideration. More mental health counselors that could understand and address a student's social and emotional well-being to have a better achievement in schools, better art and music programs to allow English learners, foster youth, and low-income students to foster their creativity while finding their passions and improving academic success, more foster youth support, and more tutors to help students in core subjects because oftentimes there is little to no support at home. Our question is, how will security officers help with the emotional well-being of students and understand how a student feels, even if the budget is specifically for English learners, foster youth, and low income? We ask that the budget does not get approved, and thank you so much for listening and for the update, and I'm looking forward to reading the letter soon. Thank you.
Paige.
Good evening. My name is Paige Bruin. I'm a member of AFL-CIO Cape Local number 512, and I encourage you not to pass item 9.02 tonight. What happens when children commit crimes, even violent crimes, and are charged as adults? This is a question that you all should seriously consider before you approve the LCAP budget, specifically because it includes the hiring of Pomona police officers as campus security personnel. All of you must remember seeing the 2015 video of Christian Aguilar being beaten at the fair when he was only 16. He was charged with a felony after the incident because of the way the encounter was depicted by the Pomona police officers. A few months later, Jesus, Victor, and Jose Palayo were beaten by Pomona police officers and also charged with felonies. All 4 boys were proven innocent, and both families filed civil lawsuits based on the contention that the officers fabricated actions listed in the reports following the encounters. In those 2 cases alone, the city paid out a total of $1.2 million in damages. Can Pomona Unified School District plan for that kind of hit to the district budget? You are self-insured. A little over 5 years ago, one of your kids named Caesar broke into a Pomona Unified Elementary School with 2 of his friends. Caesar was 16. One of the items they stole was an Elmo portable projector. Pomona Police Officer Trevor Stevenson responded to an alarm call at the school and spotted the 3, and when they saw him, they ran. Officer Stevenson gave chase, and according to the officer, Caesar threw a metal crowbar towards him as they were running. The crowbar harmlessly clattered in the street, but according to Stevenson, the boy also swung a backpack at the officer when the chase slowed. Only Caesar was apprehended. When interrogated, the boy said he had dropped the crowbar, and he claimed to be remorseful. He said that he had stopped running so he could get to his knees on the ground to surrender, and he claimed that Officer Steven used excessive force by tackling him. The boy did not use force in defending himself. The crowbar had simply been discarded, not thrown at Officer Stevenson, and the projector was surely not a deadly weapon. Yet your student was charged and convicted of 3 felonies: assault on a police officer with a deadly weapon, obstructing or resisting an officer by force or violence, and commercial burglary. There was no intervention, no big brother talk, no rehabilitation. He was straight up sentenced to 5 years and 8 months. This was your student, a kid who would not graduate from high school with his classmates, a boy that is now an adult felon, not able to vote, get a passport, or work for a municipality. His life was ruined for the admittedly poor decision to steal an Elmo projector in Pomona. The actions of the PPD did not contribute to improved behavior or attendance and did the opposite.